Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is June 30th, 2023, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, market's really tapering off, lighter volume as we're going into the holiday weekend next week. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So out of the United States at 2:30 South African time, we have a PCE Price Index number coming out. Now, I don't expect it to rattle or shake the markets, but you do want to know about it. Now, as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, Japanese yen continues to weaken versus the US dollar to 144. And looking at the indices, we're watching the Dow Jones bounce while the NASDAQ remains unchanged. Looking at commodities, gold still on support and not really breaking it. And also oil really unchanged. Looking at the stocks, Apple still looking very strong on its highs and not retracing. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start with the Euro USD. Yes, it did taper lower, but it's not as significant as the Japanese yen. But look at it where it is right now, 108.57. It is on supportish level as it retraced earlier yesterday and this morning from our 109.70-ish level. So this is the kind of like the new range that we're in. 108.58-ish level is really supportish level, 108.50 for sure. And so that's something to look at today as I anticipate a bounce at these levels, okay? That's what I anticipate. Looking at GBP USD also retracing and retraced a little bit lower than its previous resistance level, okay, of that 26.43-ish level. We're at 26-ish level right now. And as we get to that 30-day moving average, that would be what I'm looking for as a supportish area. Now, if it does break, well, then things will be changed, right? And that's something to consider. Looking at the Japanese yen, at these levels, okay, there's really no support or resistance-ish level at this level, 144.62. Remember, we had a low of 150-ish level. We're not that far off of it. Okay, so there's still some upside to this as the Japanese yen is getting weaker versus the dollar. Now, jumping into commodities, gold just still hanging out there at 1904. We dipped below yesterday to 1890-ish level, but nothing to write home about, okay? It's still just tapering lower, okay? It did make a lower low, and if it doesn't break out lower, okay, then it's going to probably bounce, okay? So just keep that in mind as this is still unfolding. Now I'm going to jump into the US markets because the oil really not doing much. If we look at the Dow Jones, a little bit of a bounce here from yesterday's 34,154 up to 34,350-ish level at these levels right now. Not a big deal, but it's a positive note. Okay, there wasn't anything that came out particularly that, was, something to write home about, but the markets did react. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, really remaining unchanged, 15,130. Now, this is where it comes interesting. Apple stock, look at this beautiful chart. I mean, this is just perfect. This is buy, retrace, buy, higher. Buy, goes higher, retraces, goes higher. This is a trending up market. If I saw one, this is it, okay? This is like the most classical uptrend kind of chart that you could possibly look at. I mean, it's like so perfect. It's like a painting. It's not even real, okay? The fact that it is. What it means is there is money being put in to Apple stock from major financial institutions, which they're betting that down the line, okay, Apple will be worth much more. Now, this is really an accumulation stage. It's still accumulating. It's on its highs. It's getting higher to 190. Now, relatively, does it still have upwards potential? Yes. Okay, so just keep an eye on this as this still unfolds. Now, next week, we're going to July 4th weekend, which is going to be a little bit lighter trading environment. So keep that in mind. Now, if we look at the other stocks, Microsoft not doing much, okay? So it's stock per stock basis. If you look at Facebook, also just taking a tapering off to 281-ish level from its 286 high. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged at that 30,700-ish level. Not doing much on the upside, but again, just loitering around this area, and that's to be expected. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day and a beautiful weekend. Thank you.